No, I had to push
Stop now.
continue because
Hold on. Hear that? Okay. Hello. This is Mirella Kaell, your location gal, and you're my podcast, Fire Chat with Mirella. I am so glad to have my favorite guest back on again, Michael Houghton. And he's the branch manager of Academy Mortgage, which is one of the biggest banks providing mortgages in America. So I am so happy and honored to have him back. And we are gonna start off with a new summer edition because we are just around the corner. We have July. We are in the summer right now already, right? Are we?
yeah, no, definitely summer.
Definitely summer. We can feel it in the temperatures outside.
Yeah, the temperatures are up.
Most days.
Temperature is up. Inventory is down. Rates are down. I mean, it's the selling season, and it's absolutely crazy. And to have 100-degree weather with that is why I stay inside and keep the air conditioning going 24/7.
It's pretty wild. Yeah, exactly. But so
Great to
tell
see you
me,
again.
oh yeah, nice to see you too. So what's up, what's new and exciting in the mortgage industry? What can we expect for the summer months? And also maybe you can give us a little, foresight, what's going on, projecting, let's say the rest of the year, maybe. And, anything else?
What I'll do is just give you a little brief breakdown of kind of where things are at, the status quo. Give you a general idea of kind of what we're hearing and what we're seeing out there, and then we can open up the questions. But rates are still as low as they've ever been in the history of the mortgage world. They've stayed low on your primary mortgages. And then the Fed, they've met already this year in their quarterly meeting and said no increase in your secondary spending, cars, equity lines, credit cards, things like that. So a lot of people are worried about inflation, but the Feds are going to ride it out through the end of the year and continue to try and keep this positive growth getting out of the pandemic, which is really the biggest news. It seems we're kind of on the exit strategy, knock on wood, that happens. So we're trying to keep everything status quo and keep that momentum running. And in the mortgage business, what they've done to do that is keep the mortgage rates low. The difficult part is if you haven't already taken advantage of it with a refinance, we're here for you on purchase. But what I'm hearing from your side of the fence on the realtors is everything in California is just absolutely zero inventory. The builders can't keep up. There's not a lot of listings every month. And for every listing that is coming up, we're seeing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've seen one as many as 15, 20 offers on a property, which makes for interesting lending to make sure that our borrowers are qualified not only for what they're going to make the offer on, but also to have them a plan A, plan B, and plan C, so that they know they've got some options if they get into a bidding war or a loan to value percentage that we can go up to. So a lot of crazy stuff. The banks seem to be excited about lending again. They've loosened up on different items. You'd have to check with each specific bank, but I'm hearing good news in that. And then I'm hearing also a little bit of relief on appraisals. It's still our number one thing that is the delay on getting loans done because, again, there's just so much demand. But crazy good time. So all good news. I mean, I had nothing negative going on, and coming out of the pandemic, you couldn't ask for a better opportunity to be in our business.
Yeah, well, definitely we are looking forward to
coming
out of the craziness of the pandemic, and it's still not over though. We
I've
still
heard.
have things to deal with, but on our end, open houses are back with some restrictions and whatnot, but definitely that's a big change that we are seeing right now. Yes, and as far as low inventory, yes, it's still continuing very much so. And some of these, I mean, the record numbers that we saw, maybe not just so much right now with the number of offers coming in. But I mean, as many as 20, 28 offers, and then 12,
That's crazy.
I mean, on some homes, even, going 100, 200,000 over asking price, sometimes here in Silicon Valley, in the Bay Area. And we had one as much as 700,000 over the asking price on a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I think I read an article, Mirella. Did you see that article? Somebody, I think it was
which one?
Mountain View, where there was a home that went $1 million over asking, or some crazy number like that.
Yeah, well, I believe it because I've seen you and I have seen the 700,000. I mean, it's out there, it's happening. However, there are still possibilities, and it really depends on each individual property also, and the situation, right. Because sometimes, occasionally, the buyers, something may go not so great, right, with the first, let's say, first person, or even second, sometimes, if they back out, and then right. Even in third position, you may still have a chance. So it really depends. Now the important thing is, it really matters who's on your side, so to speak. So like, you definitely have a great lender here in Michael.
I have a great realtor too, yeah.
And right, and then in the great
You're working extra hard right now with what you have.
Definitely, yes. Well, you know what, just us surviving this period, right, and just right. Going in with all the requirements and everything else, and and I tell you, it's, in a way, it's kind of more of a bonding process with our clients, because we have to be there for them, and make sure that everything is on the up and up, and I think they appreciate it more when we
yeah, no, and I tell my borrowers coming in, I tell them, I said, this is when my partners and my good, strong realtors like yourself are really earning their keep, because every week Tuesday we're having a meeting with 200 realtors, and you're announcing to those 200 realtors, hey, I've got clients that are looking for this. If anybody's got something coming up, let me know on this. So having a realtor at your level in this time is absolutely critical, because I'm seeing the most successful transactions with you finding opportunities off of market, or you find it internally within your brokerage, Keller Williams being one of the #1 in the industry. And a lot of consumers aren't aware of that.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Well, they, I make sure that my clients know that they have this extra, way of finding out what is coming on the market. And also, we have a special area, for members only on MLS, for the coming soon properties that right. I'm sending to my clients as well. So yeah, so there is also the networking opportunities you mentioned, and things that we have internally. So yeah, definitely that makes a difference.
The other thing I'm seeing to come up that's kind of general across the board, and I never talk religion or politics, I think I've said that on your podcast before, yes, but specifically, the current administration is looking to continue to try and drive new home business, lower rates, lower payments, pulling equity out of your home, whatever your need set might be. But I very strongly encourage your clients and partners to keep up on the daily federal news, like incentives. There's a bill, and I'm not sure if it's law or bill or what, but the current administration is trying to get a $15,000 new home buyer credit out there. So again, I can't confirm exactly at what stage it's at, but I know they're working hard to get that out. And a new home buyer means somebody who hasn't bought in the last 3 years. So if you have a client that sold and has been renting or relocated, and they're back in the game again, they're considered a new home buyer to take advantage of some of those offers and some of those things out there if they haven't purchased a new home in the last 3 years.
Well, that's hot news right there. Yeah. Let me tell you, I need to research that more, because the cost of owning a home and buying a home, even a new construction, let's say, it went up so much right now because of the lumber costs, right. And transportation and other things that were basically the result of the pandemic, with some of the smaller businesses closing. you know, labor being at really high demand and not enough people, basically in the construction industry, that has been also a problem. So there's a lot of issues, but you know, this is a positive. I love that you mentioned that. I have to definitely research that more. There are some other things like Prop 19, which is still being kind of, you know, worked out, and people are not aware of it entirely. So it's coming out. So, you know, for some of the qualified, you know, categories of homeowners, this actually is a great incentive to think of putting a house on the market and maybe moving if they were thinking of making a move. So
Yeah,
it's important to know that. And also, you know, the chief economist of NAR, he was speaking recently. He was saying that even though we have such shortage of inventory throughout, you know, the country, and he said that the starts for the new, sorry, just got a text. The starts for the new construction actually are going to be slightly higher for the next projected, you know, few years even, I believe. So, yeah, so it's a steady kind of a steady increase. That's not going to go like, you know, big trajectory, but still. It's important. And I was just talking to someone the other day, and I said, you know, old strip malls and shopping malls, they're being repurposed, and you know, they're building more multi-units sometimes, right?
The multi-units, yeah.
Multi-units, but also, you know, the zoning is changing. I think it's opening up more for a mixed zoning. So you have some commercial, some, you know, some residential, like for example, like Santana Row, you know, places like that, which also help with transportation and other things that people don't need to use so much because they're able to live and entertain, let's say, and work, you know, in a closer proximity. And so, I mean, there's also some new things on the horizon with, for example, modular construction and green construction, net zero. So not everyone's aware of this, but it has been actually really popular already in the commercial space, very much so, but also in the residential space. And it's very different. It's not a mobile home at all. It's actually, the difference is it's constructed off-site in a factory setting, which is controlled. So you don't have things like, you know, the weather coming into play. And also, you know, labor costs are contained. And so the cost is actually lower. It's actually built very strongly because it has to be transported. But once it's transported onto the site, it's actually put into a foundation that's a regular foundation, just like if you were building this home. So that's a huge revolutionary kind of a step that's been going on behind the scenes, and it's expanding now. So I think that's going to also make a difference in construction and, you know, especially new construction.
Well, yeah, we partner with not only individual builders and contractors, but also the largest builders and contractors across the country. We actually have special programs and partnerships already set up. In fact, I was in Central Valley this last weekend for one of my son's tournaments in Modesto, and from my drive from Los Gatos to Central Valley, the growth pattern and the home building that you can see on the freeway, all the way up over the Altamont, through Tracy, through Manteca, through Modesto.
Even before that in Dublin, Dublin out in the East Bay, it's crazy what I've seen in the last, you know, 10, 15, 20 years. It's crazy. I mean, it's just,
it's another replication of what happened in the 90s when the tech boom hit. Everybody, you know, started moving outward towards the Sacramento and the East Bays and the Tri-Valleys, and that is now started back up again at about 100 times the speed of what it was in the 90s. So we're seeing a huge migration out into those areas. And some of my colleagues in Academy, those are our hottest regions as far as volume of transaction and numbers. I mean, some of my colleagues are doing 20, 40 loans a month on new homes, new home builds. It's insane. And again, I have much fewer transactions here with larger dollars, but the numbers that are coming up and how quickly people are getting into these homes, and these large builders, mid-size and individual builders, they're rocking and rolling. They're not waiting around. So it's insane. It's absolutely insane, and I'm excited for the times we have. There was a lot of uncertainty over the last year with everything that's going on. What I'm most excited about is everything seems to be shoring up and getting a little more stable and a little more consistent so that people can start forecasting and thinking a year out or 2 years out. And that's where we're going to see the ramp, as I expect. And again, don't take my word for it. I always make this joke, they broke our crystal balls a couple of years ago. So, but with all the enthusiasm, all the money, all the excitement, I don't think we're going to slow down here for another 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the Bay Area and California.
Well, that's
further than that, I can't speak. Yeah.
Well, the need is here, definitely. And we have a lot of innovation. We have a lot of people that are always looking for new solutions. So, you know, it's not going to be like, oh, whoops, what are we going to do now? It's really, people are thinking forward thinking, right? And always trying to find the best solution. So I think we're in good shape right now as far as looking into the future. Of course, we want more of that inventory to come up, and hopefully it will be opening up soon also in other areas, not just the new construction, but in other areas as well. Okay, and so so these are good news for
it's like I said, it's
the
exciting.
hot summer of 2021.
I apologize. I apologize. I didn't prepare for this meeting with my beach body and my tan that you should have in summer, but unfortunately, as you can probably see from the podcast, I haven't left my guest since last month. So good times, crazy times, and
well, you seem to be doing much better, let me tell you. But one of these days, we got to hit that trail again. Again,
another meeting. Take that off the Zoom.
Right. Yeah, well, you know, that's also important. So yes, and I'm glad to hear that you're gonna maybe take a few days off and or a couple.
It's never a day off. We're
in our business, really, it's not a day off. We go by our clients mostly, right? When
I'm gonna try and light some fireworks.
When they don't need anything, but sometimes you do have to take a couple of days.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and light some fireworks this weekend for 4th of July. But unless I change my number, I'll be working, and you can get a hold of me.
Okay, so that's good to know. I was just kind of fishing for the info because I'm like, I might have, and then right after I asked you, I'm thinking, I might have to text Michael when I hear from my client. So I know, I totally get it, but I do hope that you get some nice breathing room there too.
You as well. I hope you have a wonderful vacation, and I think half the people are taking Friday off. The other half.
Well, I don't know what the vacation is. I don't even know that name. I need to put that on the calendar somewhere, though. But tell me about your son. You said your son was doing really well in the tournaments.
Oh, he's trying. No, the team's doing really well. He's right in transition from playing and going next level. So he had a great weekend.
So exciting.
With the U team, and he's plugging away, and my little guy, same thing. So
they're playing, are they both in basketball, you said?
Yeah, both in basketball. The little guy plays football. The older one is mainly travel basketball, and now is all the summer leagues and tournament and travel ball. So
this is so much fun.
Insane.
But it's for parents it's a lot, but also it's so exciting.
It's good times. Good. Like I said, everything is positive. Everything's thumbs up. So I have nothing but excitement and positivity moving forward, and look forward to finish out the year strong.
Exactly. That's the way to be.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure. I'm gonna stop recording now.
Okay.
Until we see each other again, and we'll do another one of these, and maybe one of these we'll do like outside downtown Los Gatos.
Yeah, maybe your next listing, or one of your next visits, and we'll do one directly from
from the house.